All right, we're here today with Jillian Pensavalle and Michael Paul Smith, co-creators and stars of the hot new web series, The Residuals. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Wow.
Hey.
Great intro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you taking the trip out here to Long Island, coming from New York City. We really appreciate it. We're excited to have you.
Not a problem.
Now, give us a little background on The Residuals, where we can find the show, what the show is all about, basic plot. For our listeners here.
Will do. Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
This is awesome.
We're like legit fans of the show. I wanted to tell you before we started recording, but I figured I'd save it.
Save it.
Right.
But like now that we're recording, you guys haven't been doing this for very long, and it's an excellent podcast.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
It's great.
I'm just saying.
Really appreciate
great.
that.
Like in every way, it's a professional podcast, and you guys are great together.
Thank you,
It's
man.
a good time to
It means
listen
a lot.
Thank you. And we're huge fans of your show. Like it's mutual. It's a mutual feeling here.
A lot of love in the room.
We're all blushing collectively
Yeah, a
right
little
now.
bit.
Yeah.
No, but seriously,
I
like,
just wanted to say that from the start.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Mike.
And likewise, because as John said, we've been watching a lot of web series since we got started with this show because we've had a lot of people come to us with content. Yours is one of the best. Like it's hilarious.
Thanks, guys.
And
Thank you.
we'll get into more of that when you guys kind of break down the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, real quick, what's The Residuals about?
It's about the unique world of commercial auditions, the casting process, the actors, the waiting rooms, and also the people behind the camera. It was inspired because Jillian and I have and continue to go on a lot of commercial auditions. It's a very awkward, weird situation,
Right.
and we just thought it was an interesting angle, and so we used it as a format for ourselves.
Right.
And everything in season 1 and almost everything in season 2 was based on real experiences.
Right.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't believe it. Like some of the things were just like, yeah, this happened. Nobody's gonna believe that it's nonfiction, but we're putting it in.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I would be on auditions, and before we had the idea for the show, just texting Mike, like, you won't believe, just quotes from people in the waiting room, just absurd
Right.
things, like, you won't believe what I just had to do, or like crazy physical auditions,
Right.
and then the commercial airs, and it's just like someone that doesn't look anything like you just sitting quietly in an office, and I'm like, well, what? How?
It's very weird.
Yeah, it's like
What?
what happened.
I was gonna say unique is a nice word
Yeah.
to say. Unique is one.
I'm trying to be
one way
diplomatic.
To put it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot. There's a lot of desperation in those waiting rooms. It's a lot of like,
sure.
ugh.
Very tense. I can imagine
Very
it being
tense.
very.
Yeah.
And like oddly competitive and passive aggressive, but super aggressive.
Yes, and
It's like-
adding to the stress of that is the fact that for commercial auditions, you almost never get the copy in advance.
Ever.
Oh, really?
If you audition for a TV show, they'll send you the sides. You can prepare them. You can go in. You can be partially or even fully memorized. For commercial auditions, sometimes you don't even know what you're auditioning for if it's a confidential product or something like
Wow.
that.
So you're blindsided when you
Totally
walk in. I
blindsided.
never knew that.
Yeah.
All the time.
And then you have to
All the
read some
time.
awkward copy, and a lot of times they just want you to improvise, and they'll just say, "Yeah, just make it up." It's like, "Oh, so you want me to write it for you? Okay, cool."
Right. You're doing
Got it.
their job for them.
Yeah.
So they kind of give
Exactly.
you like on the spot direction.
Yeah, you sign in and you get a piece of paper and then it tells you what to do. Sometimes there's a little storyboard. There was
Right.
one time where I got called in for an audition for Spanish. And I called my agent and I was like, I just want to be totally upfront. I don't speak Spanish. I can't even fake it.
Right.
I just like, because that's kind of a thing. If you go in and then you can't do what they wanted, it looks bad on everyone involved. So I
course.
tried to do everything right. Call my agent. I don't speak Spanish. I really can't do it.
Right.
Go anyway. Okay. I go there. Everyone else in the waiting room, like,
Spanish speaking.
Spanish speaking. So when I sign in, I just say, I just want to make it clear, like, I was told to come. I really, like, this, can't do it.
Right.
No, it's not a problem. I go in, what was written on the board, like we have in our show, all in Spanish. The person I was standing with in there spoke Spanish. And they were
Right.
like, just react to what he's saying. I was like, I don't know how much clearer, like, what language am I speaking? Because I can't even react. It was
Yeah.
insane.
My reaction would be confusion because I don't know what I'm reacting
It was
to.
like a car thing, and we
Why-
were like putting things in the car, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, who do I have to talk to here, and
Why
in
are
what
they wasting
language?
your time?
It's
and
so
their time?
complicated
theirs,
when you
like-
think about it. You're like,
Yeah.
There's no way they would cast me in this. There's
Right.
no way.
Now, is their process just kind of trying to get as many people in and through, like to see as many people as possible? Is that maybe
Yeah,
why
because
the?
a lot of times, like last week, I had an audition, and then my agent called and said they're going in a different direction, which I also, so the audition was canceled, which I appreciated,
Right.
instead of like going and then having like a black guy show up for when it was just like, oh, we want like Tina Fey, Zoe Deschanel,
Right.
cute brown hair girl, and then show up. I'd rather them tell me before I go
Right, be
to the
upfront with you.
audition. Like,
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
We had
So-
that happen in season 1.
Yes, exactly
One of our
that.
principal characters, the Ellen O'Shea character, doesn't book something. It's a one-line audition for a car commercial, and then she sees the commercial on her TV, or rather on her computer, and they give it to a black male R&B singer. So like
I saw that. I love
Yeah.
that scene.
just a totally different type, and it actually makes her feel better. Like yes, they wasted my time, but at least it's not like somebody that looks like me that like
Right.
just
Yeah, it's
they
a
think
different
is better
guy.
than me. Yeah,
Totally polar
Right, right.
opposite.
yeah.
No, it's a great comedic look at this process, and it's awesome kind of behind the scenes. It's something that you don't really think about because we all see commercials on a day-to-day basis. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're typically not movie stars, so we don't really think about what they go through on a day-to-day
unless
basis.
you're Matthew McConaughey and
Right.
doing
Oh,
those
that's true.
commercials, whatever.
What is this?
I don't even know what's going on there.
Those commercials.
I've been driving to Lincoln before they paid me.
I'm just waiting for the commercial to
People
be
say
like,
you can't look back. Well, yes, you can.
I'm waiting for him to do the time is a flat circle. I just want him to be Russ Cole and everything from
Yeah.
True Detective.
Oh, good for
so
him.
good.
No, but so yeah, you guys provide a great comedic look of behind that scene. So where
Thank you.
where can people find it if they want to go check out the show now?
Well, season 1 and a lot of other stuff is on the residuals.tv. And there's also season 2 is going to be hosted by BroadwayWorld.com.
Nice.
And there's a lot of stuff about us on BroadwayWorld.com, just, interviews and behind the scenes stuff. So you can go to BroadwayWorld.com and search for us. And we have
Our Twitter.
Yeah, the Twitter and the Facebook, of course.
At The Residuals on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Residuals TV,
Okay.
and
Alright.
Instagram is at The Residuals.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up BroadwayWorld.com because we had that's kind of how we met.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we got introduced.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Matt Teminiti, who is their
Is-
TV film critic.
Stand-up guy.
Yeah.
He's great.
Matt
Awesome
Tamanini, he's a great guy, great guest on this show. And
Oh,
I
thank
was,
you.
when I listened to it, I was intimidated because I was like, this guy is smart. He
Oh,
can
Really on
He
point.
knows everything.
Everything.
He talks about.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole episode. He talks about the history of Broadway theaters, what's on Broadway right now, the theater actors that are on TV, and then
Yeah.
he seamlessly segues into sports,
Right.
rules and regulations of NCAA football. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I hope these guys like fart jokes because after a while, I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover all that ground.
We appreciate you're here to bring us back down to a
Yeah.
level that we're
Yeah.
I'm
used
going to dumb it down for you guys quite a bit.
to. No, we didn't know. We knew Matt was a sports fan going into that show, but
Yeah.
we didn't. We found out like later on that he coached college level sports. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
what
a
else- what
jack
have
of
we
all
not
trades.
He
done?
really is.
He is a Renaissance man.
So
Yeah.
how did you guys meet Matt and get involved with all that?
Well, I actually remember exactly. We saw that with Charlie from The West Wing. What's the name of that show? That got on Broadway
After midnight.
after midnight.
Right.
I remember because we were trying to. Another thing we had to learn was how to do social media. Just throwing that in that we had to learn how to do. So we were tweeting a lot about. I think we were only a couple episodes into season 1, and we sent our press release and stuff. And Broadway World was posting everything that we put in, but we didn't have a contact yet.
Right.
And I remember it was like after we came home from the show, and we were just tweeting about After Midnight, and we were just on Twitter a lot. And Matt just started tweeting at us saying, I work at Broadway World and I saw your show and I loved it and I can't believe that I missed these next couple episodes. And then we just started tweeting, and the tweets went to direct messages. And then suddenly it was like, do you guys want to do an interview? It just happened. It was
Wow.
like
Right, it
that
was, like,
one night,
instantly.
just instantly and then we did an interview, and we've been in touch with him, and he has been completely wonderful and supportive and absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah, he's great. He's
Amazing.
He's a very. We've never officially met him, but we feel like we're friends with him already.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, us too. I mean, we just contact through email and
Yeah.
did our Skype interview with him.
Right.
And that's basically our interaction up
Yeah.
to this point. But he's so supportive of people that go out of their way to make content from the ground up.
Yeah.
Whether it's your show or our podcast.
Yeah.
Like there's an audience for people to support these makeshift projects
Right.
that are from people that are very passionate about their art and their creations.
Yeah.
That's why we love talking to people like you too, because we know the struggle of kind of making your own thing out of nothing. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're creating original content, and the grind of getting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we have another connection. Also, we all grew up on Long Island.
Yes, indeed.
For the most
Yeah.
part. I
For the
know,
most part.
Jillian, you were born in.
I was born in Whitestone, Queens,
Okay.
and then I went to high school in Manhattan. So my parents lived on Long Island, so I semi did.
Jillian commuted to the city
Yeah, I
Like-
went to
Like a grown up.
Yeah, like a grown up.
Right.
So I don't really have a lot of the same.
Yeah, Jillian
Ugh.
lived I think your adolescent years were spent in Brookville, right? But you all
Well,
your
no,
friends were in the city.
We moved, I guess, when I was like 14.
Okay. So
And then I was
those
in
are
high
adolescent
school.
years.
Yeah, those
But
are,
I
that
mean-
counts.
Yeah, I
But
think
like
so.
I didn't get my driver's license till I was like 21 because I never needed it. I didn't have like
Sure.
You don't
Long
need it
Island
now.
friends. I don't need it now.
Because
I
I
was
do
gonna
the
say.
driving. Just saying.
So I just, yeah, I was in Manhattan all the time.
I guess I'm more of a
You're more of the Long Island guy.
lifelong
Yeah.
Long
You're a
Island.
Yeah.
lifer.
You guys,
lifer.
are you guys Islander fans?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I'm
he is.
a
Oh, you guys found
extreme
each other.
Islander fan.
And I know
Nice.
you're an Islander fan just because I saw you wearing the T-shirts during
gotta-
the
you
episode.
gotta give him
so
some
I
love.
was
Yeah, that's
like,
right,
I was
yeah.
like, yes,
Yep.
finally, because
That-
you don't see the Islanders floating around on anyone's projects.
It's true.
That's another perk of having our own show. We can support all of our
Yeah.
things.
I saw an Islander jersey in the Wolf of Wall Street in DiCaprio's office. So I
They
get really
filmed it-
excited.
They filmed it near my parents' house.
And that guy, the
Yeah.
guy
Is
he
that
played
right?
lived on Long Island. He lived
Yeah.
on the North Shore.
But
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
jerk, right? Isn't he like the worst? That
Well,
guy?
yeah.
He was a white
Yeah.
collar criminal.
He's,
That's
yeah.
all.
a white collar criminal.
Absolutely.
But it's cool just to see, little
Doesn't
nuggets
apply to
like
all
that.
Islander
Yeah.
fans.
Before the
Of course.
Residuals, Jillian and I were. This was like our first foray into making content. We were just making sketches through
Right.
our production company.
Yeah.
And I always tried to throw in an Islanders reference here and there. And we did a sketch called My Professional Athlete Roommate, where I played a guy that's a professional athlete that talks like he's in a post game interview all the time. And we made him an Islander, sort of, and I sent it to
Yeah.
to Lighthouse Hockey, this Islander blog.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, and they ran it and they wrote about it, and I did a short interview with them about how long you been an Islander fan. So we've been sort of sprinkling in Islander references throughout.
Can we do a little bit of the
Oh my
athlete
goodness.
roommate? Can I
Okay.
ask you?
Yeah, ask me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm really hungry. Do you want to order Chinese or something? I'm super hungry.
Well,
you want to order in?
we've had a lot of success with Chinese food in the past. Hopefully, we'll keep it up, and we just, if we keep plugging away, I think Seamless.com's been really good to us, and if we keep ordering Chinese, I feel like if we can be consistent, hopefully it'll help us out in future meals.
Okay, so do you want the same order as last time, or because I'm gonna get Kung Pao chicken? So do you want the same order?
I'm gonna call Scene. I'm gonna call Scene there. That's
'Cause you said
that's basically the idea.
consistent.
Yeah.
I like
awesome.
that.
That's a great concept.
And that was perfect applause drop
Right.
in right there.
Hey,
I love that.
our fans are very supportive.
I noticed that about a lot of athletes. They're just like, they can't.
I mean,
They're
There's no
coached.
emotion
They're
to their-
coached to say nothing
It's
controversial
scripted.
whatsoever.
Make
Yeah.
a statement.
Yeah.
Actually,
for
we
once in your life.
joke about those post-game interviews all the
Oh.
time. We could actually do a whole episode.
They're
we,
awful,
we
aren't
might
they?
have to have you guys call in for that episode when we
Please.
finally do it.
Please
Yeah.
do.
I
Please
don't
do.
think I'm needed. You guys.
You
just
guys
asked
would
the
love that
question.
sketch.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm just
awesome.
I gotta
saying.
check
That was
this out
fun.
now.
I had a spray
fun.
bottle on hand because I wanted to look sweaty the whole time. So I kept every time we cut, I would spray under my arms and my face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They always ask the questions when these guys are coming off the ice at the worst time because
Yeah.
their hearts are
They don't wanna
pumping.
deal with that.
They're exhausted, and then they're being asked questions.
Yeah, in between
Especially if
periods
they
too.
lose.
I hate when
Right,
they catch them in
exactly.
between periods.
And the
It's like,
Islanders,
dude,
I mean,
I mean,
they're
so
used
all
to
the
that.
time.
yeah, that's
Sorry,
true.
guys.
Sorry.
Not
So-
this year though. Not
that's
this year.
true.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
I never say this, but they're going to be effing good this year.
I hope so.
They
You know?
are.
I've
nev-
heard.
I've never said that. I've never bragged about the Islanders.
You've never
before.
said effing before?
I say that all the time.
Go ahead with your question about our connection with something we
Oh
noticed
yeah,
in the episode.
no. Speaking of you wearing T-shirts and dropping hints on the
Yes.
show, we were actually watching season 1 a few weeks ago when we first heard about you guys, and there's a scene with you, Jillian,
Mm-hmm.
on your couch in your apartment. You're on your laptop working or talking to your friend. I
Skype-
believe.
yeah,
Yeah,
Skyping.
Skyping, and you're wearing a T-shirt that made me instantly pause, and I was like, I know that shirt, and I quickly called my friend Pete, and I was.
What shirt was it?
It was I Heart Pickles. Is that correct?
It is correct. The bright green I Heart
Yeah.
Pickle shirt.
Unmistakable. So I
I
called.
think you rocked that just the other day. Also, it's in her regular rotation. Just in life.
I try not to wear it outside because I don't want the attention it brings.
Right.
So it's a fun indoor shirt though.
So where did you get the shirt?
I got the shirt at San Gennaro
Right.
last year.
Little Italy.
Yeah, and we filmed around the same time last year.
I had my first deep fried
October-ish.
Twinkie. Oh my goodness.
How'd you like it?
It was a
Good
nice
stuff,
time.
man.
And I do heart pickles. So when I
Right.
saw the stand, it was like the only thing I bought at San Gennaro, and I
That's
was very
awesome.
excited about it. And the person at the booth who
Yeah, it's Pickle Me Pete. Our friend.
he was very nice.
Our friend Pete
Yeah,
Starr
he's-
has been running this business for a few years now, and when he's been blowing up the past few years. So
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, wow, he's reached the big time now.
Wow.
I
Wow.
think one of the Jonas Brothers had
Get
his
outta here.
pickle stand featured on his.
Oh yeah, that was the other high
Wow.
profile.
Yeah.
He posted it on like his Twitter account. Like I'm at Pickle Me Pete's stand right now.
Wow.
Shout out to Pete.
Shout
Yeah,
out
so I
to
just wanted
Pete.
to
Which
give
is
a quick
also
shout out to
my
Pete.
character name in the Residuals.
Right.
Right.
Which I was actually named after one of Jillian's parents' dogs. But now I could also be named after Pickle Me Pete.
Pickle Me Pete.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now the show's cast. How did you go about picking the actors for the project?
We have yet to have an audition for the Residuals, although after season 1, it was sort of a rite of passage. Strangers started reaching out to us saying, "Hey, I want to be in the show," which we thought was really cool, like
Right.
That's awesome.
like a good step. But it started out with actors that we know, because of course we're actors ourselves,
Right.
And a couple, maybe we went like one step removed from that. We had some of them referred us to other actors if we needed a certain type or a certain age range or something like that. But we were lucky to work with almost all of them were our friends, and now they're all our friends because we've worked with them.
And I think a lot of characters you sort of had people in mind as you were writing.
Yes,
Right.
yes. For the principal characters, I wrote them for specific people.
Right.
Just because I've worked with them before, and I just you want to work with people
Yeah,
that
you build a
you're friends
rapport
with.
with people
Sure.
and
Yeah.
get to know them.
And it's so important for a comedy. Like I as a director, I just felt like we have to have fun on set, because if you have fun on set, it's going to permeate off the screen.
Yeah.
So that was just an easy way to make sure that was going to
No,
happen.
you made the right call, because I mean you can tell when people are not having fun.
Yes.
Oh,
And
everyone
then you
looks like
feel
they're having
like
a blast,
you
yeah.
feel bad because you're like, oh man, I got all these people in this room, and
yeah.
they're really working hard, and I don't know if they're digging the idea and
Is
the
that
concept.
something you think about
Yeah.
as a director?
Totally, because we're stressed out most of the time. So I'm like, I can't put this on anybody else. Like I have to just. It's like I'm like Frodo Baggins. This burden is mine alone.
The ring's weighing down on you.
I think
Yes.
it's an excellent
Does that make
pressure.
me Sam? Am I Sam?
Sam.
Jillian,
I love Sam.
I think it's an excellent pressure because it's showing that you're passionate about what you want to do and what you're trying to achieve, and you know that all day long you're going to be thinking about this. And
Yeah.
it's a thing where I think it takes a special type of person or people to do something like this.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
all it involved us learning on the fly a lot. So now looking back, it's like, wow, this was all worth it. I mean, we know how to produce a show now.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But we were in way over our heads for a good portion of it, and just trying to hide it.
Well, it's trial by
know,
error, and
totally.
we found the same thing with our show. Like our first few episodes, like we don't even like to acknowledge those now.
Yeah, it's kinda like we put 'em in
kinda
the
brush
bin.
those under the rug.
Hey, I mean, the pilot of Seinfeld is not their best episode.
No.
right,
I mean, come on.
exactly.
And
but,
Jerry, I think, acknowledges that. He's like,
Totally.
yeah, it sucks.
Their finale
Yeah.
wasn't great either, but that's a different,
Yeah,
different story.
but you
I
learn
agree.
as you go. You get better on the fly. Like it's the best way to do it. Like
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
say that I learn more outside of college, like working in the field that I'm in, than actually studying and reading books.
Yeah,
Like, you
I'm a
gotta
big
do it.
learn by doing
Right,
person. That's how I learned how to edit. Mike would say, "Can we do this?" And I would say, "There's a way to do it. I'll just find a way to do it. I'll just figure it out.
So,
I'll just learn
you
it."
guys pretty much are you wear all the hats
Mm-hmm.
on the
Yeah.
production. Like you mentioned, do you both direct or is it mainly just
No.
Mike?
I wrote and directed, and Jillian co-produced and edits everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we just sort of combined as location scout / makeup / costumes / craft services,
Right.
whatever. It was just
Everything.
just about
Bookkeeper, business, just
yeah,
Craft service is very important.
Yeah.
very important.
We really
We
strive.
talked about that on that show. Ours is kind of lacking. We're sorry.
That's all right. You have water.
Our
That's
craft
good.
service is like a box of Joe.
You gotta have a
and
box of
you
Joe
gotta
on
have
set.
a box
Yes.
of Joe.
Yeah, for $22.
Box
Are
of
you
Joe's
Couple
kidding?
cheap.
donuts, you're good.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Pop-ems.
That's a Long
Yeah.
Island thing. Like that's you bring in a box of Joe anywhere and you're everyone's best friend.
Yep, that's
it's
it.
such a great thing.
we do have to, just in terms of our crew, we have to shout out Carrie Rachel Dean.
Carrie Rachel Dane.
Carrie Rachel Dane, who's from South Carolina. She's a big
Okay.
Clemson Tiger fan.
Yep. She just started showing up and helping us in season 1, and she became our script supervisor.
Script supervisor
and,
/ producer.
And now she's a / producer, and she helped us with the Kickstarter, and she's just indispensable.
Indispensable.
So people like that just come along and say, "No, I'm gonna help." And we had more of those in season 2. We had
How did
Tom
she
Brown
find
and
you
Ted
guys?
Warman.
We're just friends, and
Oh,
so
okay.
she just she's an actor too and voiceover, and she's a singer, and so she just wanted to be involved
Yeah.
anyway, and then it just became, and it's kind of like amazing and interesting too to work so closely with your friends on something that's our livelihood. So it's a
Right.
very interesting combination, I guess.
Yeah.
To be in both.
Now that's another thing I was going to ask about working with your friends who are actors. Were they, as soon as you mentioned this project to them, were they like, yeah, let's do it, or was there any hesitation on their part? Because like working with friends, as me and John know, can get a little testy sometimes.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no hesitation, but I made sure to have a script or at least a treatment ready so that they knew what they were getting into. You know what I
Right.
mean? Especially for season 1, because now that season 2 is on Broadway World, we can say like definitively we're not just going to put this on YouTube and hope for the best. People are going to see it.
Right.
But for season 1, it was more like, I hope you think this is funny, and if you do, then let's take a shot and let's just do it.
And
Everyone was really excited, which
Everybody
was
was
amazing.
yeah, especially if you say, not a lot of actors get somebody saying, I wrote this role for you.
Right.
So everybody was
Yeah.
was very supportive and encouraging to me as writer.